Quiet Wealth, written and published by Ngasline. In a world obsessed with flaunting luxury cars, designer logos, and Instagram, worthy vacations, the truly wealthy often move in silence, their fortunes growing in the shadows of discretion. Quiet Wealth reveals the counterintuitive truth that keeping your prosperity private isn't just about modesty. It's a powerful strategy for building and maintaining lasting wealth. Through fascinating examples of self-made billionaires who drive modest cars and live in unassuming homes, this book uncovers how the art of financial stealth not only preserves wealth, but actively multiplies it, proving that the richest people aren't those who look rich, but those who understand the power of staying under the radar. Lesson 1. Silent success grows stronger. Success has a peculiar relationship with silence. Like a seed growing beneath the soil, the most profound achievements often take root and flourish away from watchful eyes. In today's hyper-connected world, where social media broadcasts every minor accomplishment, the power of quiet achievement has become increasingly rare and correspondingly valuable. The psychology behind silent success lies in the fundamental human tendency to protect what's precious. When we share our goals and achievements prematurely, we often experience a false sense of accomplishment that can diminish our drive to actually achieve them. This phenomenon, known in psychology as social reality, demonstrates how talking about our ambitions can paradoxically make us less likely to accomplish them. Consider the case of Marcus Chen, a real estate investor who built a portfolio worth over $50 million without ever appearing in a single business magazine or social media post. Chen's strategy involved quietly acquiring undervalued properties in emerging neighborhoods, renovating them methodically, and letting the results speak for themselves. His privacy allowed him to move swiftly and negotiate effectively, as sellers never knew the true extent of his resources or previous successes. Privacy creates a protective barrier around your growth process. When you're not constantly explaining your methods or defending your decisions to others, you can focus entirely on refinement and execution. This shield of privacy also prevents competitors from studying and replicating your strategies, giving you a sustained competitive advantage in your chosen field. The momentum of silent success builds differently than public achievement. Instead of the typical peaks and valleys that come with external validation, quiet achievement creates a steady, reliable acceleration. Each small win builds upon the last, creating a foundation of genuine confidence rather than dependent on others' approval. This intrinsic motivation proves far more sustainable than the fleeting highs of public acclaim. Another compelling example is Sarah Martinez, who started her technology company with just 3 employees and grew it to 500 strong before anyone in her industry took notice. By staying under the radar, she avoided the pressure of investor expectations and could make decisions based on long-term sustainability rather than quarterly results. When she finally sold her company for $400 million, many were shocked, having never heard of her business despite its significant market share. Silent success also provides the space needed for experimentation and failure. Without an audience watching your every move, you're free to try new approaches, make mistakes, and learn from them without public scrutiny. This freedom to fail and adjust becomes a crucial advantage in building lasting success. The compound effect of working quietly manifests not just in financial terms, but in personal growth as well. Those who achieve in silence often develop stronger emotional resilience, better decision-making skills, and a more grounded sense of self-worth. Their success stems from genuine capability rather than skilled self-promotion. As you cultivate your own path to success, consider the power of keeping your achievements close. Let your work speak through its results rather than through announcements. Build your empire brick by brick, away from prying eyes, and allow the strength of your accomplishments to become undeniable before they become visible. The most profound transformations in nature occur beneath the surface. The mighty oak grows from a quiet acorn, and the most valuable diamonds form under immense pressure in complete darkness. Your success can follow the same pattern, growing stronger and more resilient precisely because it develops away from the spotlight. Lesson 2. Real wealth whispers, not shouts. True wealth has a peculiar characteristic. It rarely announces itself. The wealthiest individuals often blend seamlessly into their surroundings, choosing understated elegance over flashy displays. This phenomenon isn't coincidental. It's a fundamental principle of wealth preservation and growth. Consider the difference between wealth signals and wealth substance. Wealth signals are the obvious markers many associate with prosperity: luxury cars, designer clothes, and oversized homes. These signals often represent borrowed affluence rather than true financial strength. In contrast, wealth substance manifests in assets that generate income, strategic investments, and robust savings, elements that typically remain invisible to casual observers. The cost of conspicuous consumption extends far beyond the immediate financial impact. When someone purchases a luxury item to signal wealth, they're not just spending money, they're sacrificing future earning potential. A $100,000 car doesn't just cost its purchase price, it represents the loss of decades of potential investment returns. This opportunity cost compounds over time, creating an ever-widening gap between those who display wealth and those who build it. Authentic financial strength develops through strategic resource allocation. The quietly wealthy understand that every dollar serves a purpose in their wealth-building journey. They invest in assets that appreciate rather than depreciate, focusing on value rather than appearance. Their homes are comfortable but not ostentatious, their vehicles reliable but not flashy, and their wardrobes quality, focused rather than trend-driven. The relationship between wealth and discretion becomes particularly evident in professional settings. Those who truly understand money recognize that broadcasting success often attracts unnecessary complications. Competition intensifies. Relationships become strained, and opportunities may actually decrease as others make assumptions about your resources and needs. The quietly wealthy navigate these waters by maintaining a modest presence while building substantial networks and opportunities. Real wealth markers differ significantly from popular perception. They include financial independence, the ability to generate passive income, and the freedom to make choices without monetary constraints. These markers rarely manifest in visible ways, yet they provide genuine security and opportunity. The quietly wealthy measure their success not by social media likes or peer recognition, but by their balance sheets and the opportunities they can create for themselves and others. Building authentic financial strength requires a shift in mindset from external validation to internal metrics. This means focusing on net worth rather than gross income, emphasizing asset accumulation over consumption, and prioritizing financial security over social status. The quietly wealthy understand that true financial power lies in what you own, not what you show. The distinction between appearing wealthy and being wealthy becomes crucial in times of economic uncertainty. Those who have built genuine wealth through quiet, consistent effort often weather financial storms better than their more ostentatious counterparts. Their resources are typically more diversified, their lifestyles more sustainable, and their financial foundations more solid. The paradox of wealth display reveals itself in social dynamics. Those who feel compelled to showcase their success often do so from a position of insecurity rather than strength. Genuine wealth creates a quiet confidence that requires no external validation. This confidence manifests in subtle ways: the ability to make decisions without concern for others' opinions, the freedom to pursue opportunities without financial constraints, and the security to live life on one's own terms. Understanding these principles transforms how we approach wealth building. It shifts focus from accumulating status symbols to building genuine financial strength. The quietly wealthy recognize that true prosperity grows best in the shade, protected from the harsh glare of public scrutiny and social pressure. They know that real wealth whispers, and those who listen carefully enough can hear its message of financial freedom and genuine security. Lesson 3. Money multiplies in privacy. The relationship between privacy and wealth accumulation runs deeper than most people realize. When money grows away from prying eyes and constant attention, it follows mathematical principles that favor exponential growth rather than linear progression. This phenomenon occurs because private wealth remains undisturbed by external pressures and emotional decisions that often plague visible fortunes. Consider how compound interest works in an environment of privacy. When investments are made quietly and consistently, without the need to respond to others' opinions or social pressures, the mathematical magic of compounding can work at its full potential. A private investor who steadily contributes to their portfolio, reinvesting gains without drawing attention, allows their wealth to multiply through the power of time and patience. This natural progression occurs without the friction that comes from constantly explaining or justifying investment decisions to others. The mathematics of private wealth also benefits from reduced transaction costs. When investors feel compelled to demonstrate their success through frequent trading or high-profile investments, they often incur unnecessary fees, taxes, and expenses. In contrast, those who manage their wealth quietly typically make fewer, more purposeful transactions, allowing more capital to remain invested and growing. This reduction in activity not only preserves wealth, but also minimizes the attention that might otherwise attract unwanted scrutiny or requests for money. Private wealth benefits from another mathematical advantage: the ability to maintain optimal position sizes and asset allocations. When investors operate away from public attention, they can maintain their preferred investment strategy without feeling pressured to adjust positions based on others' expectations or market sentiment. This consistency allows for better risk management and more reliable long-term returns. Investment strategies for the discrete investor often focus on steady, reliable vehicles that don't require constant monitoring or adjustment. These might include index funds, blue, chip dividend stocks, or private market investments that generate consistent returns without drawing attention. The key is selecting investments that can grow independently of public validation or recognition. The mathematics of private wealth also extends to protection against loss. When wealth grows in privacy, it's less likely to be targeted by fraudsters, opportunistic lawsuits, or well-meaning but financially draining requests from friends and family. This protective aspect of privacy acts as a mathematical multiplier by preventing the erosion of capital that often affects visible wealth. Another crucial mathematical principle of private wealth is the ability to take advantage of market inefficiencies without telegraphing one's moves. When investors operate quietly, they can build positions gradually without affecting market prices or alerting others to their strategy. This stealth approach often results in better entry prices and more profitable positions over time. Privacy also allows for more effective tax planning and wealth preservation strategies. By keeping financial matters private, individuals can implement sophisticated tax-efficient structures without drawing unnecessary attention from tax authorities or other interested parties. While remaining fully compliant with all laws and regulations, private wealth can grow more efficiently through careful planning and discreet execution. The compound effect of privacy extends beyond pure mathematical advantages. When wealth grows quietly, it creates a virtuous cycle where success breeds success without the distractions and demands that often come with visible wealth. This psychological advantage translates into better decision-making and more consistent long-term results. The mathematics of private wealth ultimately demonstrates that money multiplies most effectively when it grows in an environment free from external pressures and unnecessary attention. By understanding and applying these principles, investors can create conditions where their wealth can compound naturally and efficiently, protected by the shield of privacy that allows for optimal growth and preservation. Lesson 4. Humble habits build fortunes. The path to lasting wealth is paved with small, consistent actions that often go unnoticed by others. These humble habits, practiced daily with unwavering discipline, create the foundation for substantial financial growth. The quietly wealthy understand that it's not the grand gestures or occasional bursts of effort that build fortunes. It's the mundane, everyday choices that compound over time. One of the most powerful habits of the quietly wealthy is their morning routine. They wake up early, not to post about the productivity on social media, but to have uninterrupted time for financial planning, market research, or business strategy. This quiet time allows them to make clear-headed decisions about their wealth without the noise and influence of others' opinions. The quietly wealthy also practice intentional spending, treating every dollar as an investment rather than a means to immediate gratification. They maintain detailed records of their expenses, not to share with others, but to understand their own patterns and optimize their financial decisions. This habit extends to their use of credit. They may have substantial credit limits, but rarely showcase their purchasing power, instead using credit strategically for wealth-building opportunities. Another crucial habit is continuous learning, but not in the way most people imagine. Instead of attending flashy seminars or posting certificates online, the quietly wealthy spend hours reading financial statements, studying market trends, and analyzing investment opportunities. They often maintain personal libraries filled with books on finance, economics, and business strategy, which they study in solitude rather than display as status symbols. The practice of automatic saving and investing represents another cornerstone habit. The quietly wealthy set up systems that transfer funds to investment accounts before they can be tempted to spend them on visible displays of affluence. They understand that consistency in saving, rather than the amount saved, builds the muscle memory of wealth accumulation. Living below one's means is perhaps the most powerful habit of all. The quietly wealthy often drive modest cars, live in reasonable homes, and wear simple clothing. This isn't because they can't afford luxury. It's because they understand that every dollar saved and invested works harder than a dollar spent on displaying wealth. They find satisfaction in watching their net worth grow rather than their social status rise. Regular financial review sessions form another critical habit. The quietly wealthy schedule time to assess their investments, update their strategies, and adjust their course as needed. These sessions happen in private, often with trusted advisors who share their discretion rather than in public forums or social media platforms. The habit of maintaining emergency funds and insurance coverage demonstrates their commitment to long-term security over short-term appearances. While others might invest in visible status symbols, the quietly wealthy ensure they have robust safety nets that can weather any financial storm without drawing attention. Networking also takes on a different form among the quietly wealthy. Rather than attending high-profile events or posting about their connections, they build deep, meaningful relationships with like-minded individuals who share their values of discretion and long-term wealth building. These relationships often lead to valuable opportunities that would never be found in more public venues. Perhaps most importantly, the quietly wealthy maintain the habit of gratitude and perspective. They regularly remind themselves that true wealth isn't about what others can see, but about the freedom and security it provides. This mindset helps them resist the social pressure to display their success and instead focus on growing their wealth through humble, consistent actions. These habits might seem simple or even boring, but their power lies in their sustainability and compound effect over time. The quietly wealthy know that fortunes are built through thousands of small, disciplined choices rather than a few grand gestures. By maintaining these humble habits day after day, year after year, they create wealth that grows steadily and sustainably, protected from the erosion of public display and unnecessary spending. Lesson 5. Wealth flows to quiet confidence. True wealth has a peculiar way of gravitating toward those who possess quiet confidence. This magnetic relationship between inner certainty and financial abundance stems from a deep understanding that genuine confidence needs no external validation. The quietly wealthy recognize that their financial security comes from within, not from the opinions or acknowledgement of others. The attraction principle of wealth operates on a fundamental truth. Money flows toward those who understand its nature but aren't enslaved by its allure. When you develop quiet confidence about your financial journey, you make decisions from a place of clarity rather than emotional reactivity. This composed approach to wealth building allows you to see opportunities that others miss while maintaining the discipline to avoid unnecessary risks. Inner financial security manifests through a deep knowledge of your resources, capabilities, and long-term vision. The quietly confident don't feel compelled to prove their worth through visible displays of wealth. Instead, they channel their energy into understanding market dynamics, improving their skills, and making calculated moves that compound their prosperity over time. The relationship between confidence and capital works in both directions. As your wealth grows, your confidence naturally increases, but it's the initial quiet confidence that often catalyzes financial success. This confidence comes from knowing that your worth isn't tied to your net worth, and your financial decisions aren't driven by the need to impress others. Mastering subtle influence becomes a natural byproduct of quiet confidence. The wealthy who understand this principle don't need to dominate conversations or flaunt their achievements. Their influence comes from the wisdom they share, the opportunities they create, and the value they add to situations. This subtle approach opens doors that remain closed to those who attempt to force their way through with obvious displays of wealth. The quietly confident also understand the power of patience in wealth building. They don't feel pressured to achieve overnight success or to keep up with others' visible progress. This patience allows them to make better investment decisions, wait for ideal opportunities, and maintain a long-term perspective that ultimately leads to greater wealth accumulation. Building quiet confidence requires consistent internal work. It involves developing a strong financial education, maintaining emotional equilibrium during market fluctuations, and cultivating relationships based on genuine connection rather than monetary status. The quietly wealthy spend time understanding their risk tolerance, defining their financial goals, and creating strategies that align with their personal values. This authentic confidence also manifests in how they handle setbacks. Rather than being devastated by losses or feeling the need to hide failures, they view challenges as learning opportunities. This resilience, born from quiet confidence, enables them to recover more quickly and make better decisions in the face of adversity. The practice of quiet confidence extends to negotiations and business dealings. The quietly wealthy don't feel compelled to prove their worth or dominate discussions. Instead, they listen more than they speak, observe carefully, and make measured contributions that carry weight precisely because they're not attempting to overshadow others. Through quiet confidence, wealth builders create an environment where money can flow naturally toward them. They understand that aggressive pursuit often leads to resistance, while quiet capability attracts opportunities. This confident approach allows them to build wealth without the emotional drain of constantly seeking validation or recognition. In the realm of wealth building, quiet confidence becomes both a shield and a magnet. It protects you from making impulsive decisions based on others' expectations while attracting opportunities that align with your genuine financial goals. The quietly wealthy understand that true confidence doesn't need to announce itself. It simply needs to exist, guide decisions, and create space for wealth to grow naturally. Lesson 6. Show-offs lose what they flaunt. The desire to display wealth often comes at a tremendous cost, both financially and personally. When people showcase their prosperity through expensive cars, designer clothing, or lavish social media posts, they unknowingly set in motion a series of events that can rapidly deplete their wealth and create unexpected vulnerabilities. Consider the psychological impact of constantly displaying wealth. Each time someone shows off their material possessions, they receive a brief dopamine rush from the attention and admiration of others. This temporary high becomes addictive, leading to an escalating cycle of increasingly expensive purchases and public displays. The need for validation through material possessions creates a psychological dependency that can override rational financial decision-making. This behavior attracts the wrong kind of attention and relationships. When wealth is openly displayed, it draws people who are interested in the benefits of proximity to money rather than genuine connection. Business opportunities may seem to multiply, but many of these will be pitched by those hoping to capitalize on perceived wealth rather than create mutual value. Personal relationships become tainted with uncertainty about true intentions, and the social pressure to maintain an image of prosperity can lead to poor financial choices. The financial cost of showing off extends far beyond the initial purchase price of luxury items. High-end cars, designer clothing, and expensive accessories typically depreciate rapidly, losing substantial value the moment they're acquired. The maintenance costs for these status symbols can be astronomical, creating ongoing financial drains that could otherwise be directed toward wealth-building investments. Moreover, public displays of wealth often lead to lifestyle inflation, where spending increases to match or exceed income growth. As people become known for their affluent lifestyle, they feel pressured to maintain and escalate their level of visible consumption. This pattern can trap even high-income earners in a cycle of living paycheck to paycheck, despite their substantial earnings. Privacy in wealth serves as a protective barrier against both external threats and internal temptations. When wealth is kept discreet, individuals are better positioned to make rational financial decisions without the influence of social pressure or the need to maintain appearances. They can focus on long-term wealth building rather than short-term impression management. The tax implications of flashy spending can also be significant. Visible signs of wealth often attract attention from tax authorities and can trigger audits or increased scrutiny. Additionally, in legal disputes or negotiations, visible wealth can lead to higher settlements or judgments, as opposing parties form their demands based on perceived ability to pay. From a security perspective, displaying wealth creates unnecessary risks. Criminal elements may target those who openly showcase their prosperity, putting both personal safety and assets at risk. Digital displays of wealth through social media can be criminals with detailed information about possessions, routines, and vulnerabilities. The professional impact of showing off shouldn't be underestimated. In business negotiations, displaying wealth can weaken bargaining positions. Vendors, employees, and business partners may adjust their pricing and demands based on perceived ability to pay, leading to higher costs and reduced profitability. Instead of flaunting wealth, successful individuals often choose to channel their resources into appreciating assets and experiences that create lasting value. They understand that true wealth building happens in quiet, deliberate steps away from public scrutiny. By maintaining privacy around their financial success, they protect their ability to grow and preserve wealth over the long term. The most sustainable approach to wealth building involves maintaining a low profile while focusing on fundamental financial principles. This allows individuals to make clear-headed decisions based on their genuine goals and values rather than external expectations or the need for validation. Those who master this approach find that their wealth grows more steadily and securely, protected from the erosive effects of showing off and the numerous pitfalls that come with financial exhibitionism. Lesson 7. True power needs no proof. Real power operates silently, like gravity, an unseen force that shapes everything around it without demanding attention or acknowledgement. This fundamental truth applies particularly well to wealth and influence. Those who possess genuine power rarely feel the need to prove it to others, understanding that true authority speaks through actions and impact rather than declarations and displays. Consider the difference between a person who constantly reminds others of their position and one who simply acts with quiet competence. The former betrays insecurity, while the latter demonstrates authentic confidence. This same principle applies to wealth building. Those who are genuinely building substantial wealth often operate without fanfare, focusing their energy on creation rather than validation. The need for external validation can be particularly costly in wealth building. Every time you seek approval or recognition for your financial achievements, you create vulnerability in your wealth building process. This vulnerability comes not just from potential security risks, but from the psychological burden of maintaining appearances and living up to others' expectations. Real influence comes from the ability to affect change, not from being recognized as someone who can affect change. The quietly wealthy understand this distinction and focus their efforts on building actual capacity rather than perceived power. They invest in relationships, skills, and opportunities that generate real returns rather than social capital that merely appears valuable. This approach to power and wealth allows for more strategic and effective decision-making. When you're not constrained by the need to maintain a certain image or prove your worth to others, you can make choices based purely on their merit and potential return. This freedom from external validation often leads to better investment decisions and stronger wealth preservation. The relationship between power and validation also extends to business dealings. Those who truly understand power know that announcing their intentions often diminishes their ability to achieve them. Instead, they move quietly, building foundations and securing positions before others even realize what's happening. This strategic silence creates competitive advantages that flasher operators never achieve. Building wealth without seeking proof or validation also helps maintain focus on long-term objectives rather than short-term appearances. When you're not constantly responding to others' expectations or trying to demonstrate your success, you can concentrate on the fundamental activities that actually build and preserve wealth. This focus often leads to more substantial and sustainable financial growth. The most powerful form of influence doesn't require constant reinforcement or external recognition. It's self-sustaining and grows stronger through results rather than rhetoric. This kind of power attracts opportunities naturally, as people recognize and respond to genuine capability rather than proclaimed importance. In the context of wealth building, this means creating value that speaks for itself, whether through successful businesses, wise investments, or strategic partnerships. The evidence of your capability should emerge through outcomes rather than announcements. This approach not only builds more sustainable wealth, but also creates a foundation for lasting influence. Understanding that true power needs no proof liberates you from the exhausting cycle of constantly demonstrating your worth. Instead, you can channel that energy into actually increasing your worth through strategic action and thoughtful development. This shift in focus from proving to improving creates a powerful momentum in wealth building that self-perpetuates over time. As you develop your wealth building strategy, remember that the quietest moves often have the most significant impact. Like a master chess player, your power lies not in announcing your strategy, but in executing it effectively. Let your results speak for themselves, and you'll find that true power naturally flows to those who understand the strength of silence. Lesson 8. Private progress lasts longer. The enduring nature of wealth, built-in private, stems from its foundation in sustainability rather than spectacle. When financial progress occurs away from prying eyes, it develops deeper roots and stronger branches, creating a more resilient structure that withstands economic storms and social pressures. This chapter explores how private wealth building leads to longer-lasting prosperity and generational success. Private wealth accumulation allows for thoughtful, measured decisions rather than reactive choices influenced by external pressures. When you're not constantly explaining or defending your financial choices to others, you can take the time to thoroughly research investments, carefully consider opportunities, and make decisions aligned with your long-term strategy. This methodical approach typically results in better outcomes and more sustainable growth compared to rushed decisions made under public scrutiny. The privacy of your financial journey also provides the space needed to recover from inevitable setbacks without external judgment or interference. Every investor faces challenges and makes mistakes, but those who build wealth quietly can learn from these experiences without the added pressure of public opinion. This freedom to fail and adjust course privately often leads to more innovative solutions and stronger eventual outcomes. Generational wealth transfer becomes more successful when built on private progress principles. Children raised in families that practice quiet wealth tend to develop healthier relationships with money and more sustainable financial habits. They learn to value substance over appearance and understand the importance of long-term thinking over short-term gratification. This educational aspect of private wealth building creates a foundation for multi-generational success that flasher approaches often fail to achieve. The protection of gains through privacy is another crucial element of lasting wealth. When others don't know the extent of your resources, you're less likely to face pressure for loans, investment opportunities, or charitable contributions that might not align with your financial goals. This protection allows your wealth to grow undisturbed, following the careful strategy you've developed rather than being diminished by external demands. Time in the market, rather than timing the market, becomes easier when building wealth privately. Without the pressure to show quick returns or impressive gains, you can focus on steady, consistent growth through tried and true investment strategies. This approach typically outperforms attempts to chase trendy investments or make splashy market moves for the sake of appearance. Private progress also allows for better adaptation to changing market conditions. When your wealth building isn't public knowledge, you can adjust your strategy without explaining yourself to others or facing criticism for changing course. This flexibility is invaluable in maintaining long-term financial success across different economic cycles. The compound effect of private wealth building becomes particularly powerful over time. Small, consistent actions taken quietly accumulate into significant results, often surprising those who weren't paying attention to the process. This stealth growth tends to be more stable and sustainable than wealth built through high-profile moves or public display. Building wealth privately also allows for better risk management. When others don't know your financial position, you can maintain appropriate insurance levels, legal protections, and security measures without drawing attention to your assets. This comprehensive protection strategy helps ensure that the wealth you build remains intact for the long term. The lasting nature of private progress extends beyond financial metrics to include personal satisfaction and fulfillment. When wealth is built quietly and sustainably, it tends to bring greater contentment and less stress than wealth accumulated under public scrutiny. This emotional stability contributes to better decision-making and more enduring financial success. Private progress creates a strong foundation for lasting wealth by focusing on substance over appearance, allowing for thoughtful decision-making, protecting gains from external pressures, and enabling flexible adaptation to changing conditions. This approach builds not just financial resources, but also the wisdom and discipline needed to maintain and grow wealth across generations. Lesson 9. Rich minds stay under radar. The wealthiest individuals often possess a remarkable ability to maintain psychological equilibrium despite their financial success. This mental fortitude isn't just about managing money. It's about managing attention, expectations, and personal boundaries. The truly wealthy understand that staying under the radar isn't just a strategy. It's a mindset that protects and nurtures their prosperity. Consider the psychological burden of being known as the wealthy one in your social circles. This label creates expectations, attracts unwanted attention, and can fundamentally alter relationships. Those who master the art of strategic anonymity understand that blending in provides the freedom to operate effectively without the constant pressure of maintaining an image or meeting others' expectations. The quietly wealthy have mastered the art of being forgettable in the best possible way. They dress appropriately but not flashy, drive reliable but not ostentatious vehicles, and live in comfortable but not showy homes. This isn't about deprivation. It's about choice and control. They understand that the ability to move through life without drawing attention to their wealth is a superpower that creates opportunities and protects their peace of mind. These individuals have developed specific mental habits that support their wealth preservation. They practice emotional discipline, refusing to be swayed by the latest trends or social pressure to display their success. They understand that true wealth is measured by the options it provides, not by the attention it attracts. This mindset allows them to make decisions based on long-term value rather than short-term validation. The psychological aspects of wealth preservation extend beyond personal choices to relationship management. The quietly wealthy are masters at maintaining boundaries without appearing unfriendly. They've learned to deflect questions about their finances with grace, redirect conversations away from monetary topics, and maintain privacy without seeming secretive. This skill set allows them to build genuine connections based on shared values rather than shared spending habits. Strategic anonymity requires constant awareness and intentional choices. It means being conscious of social media presence, careful about public records, and thoughtful about charitable giving. The wealthy who thrive in privacy often structure their philanthropic efforts through foundations or anonymous donations, ensuring their impact is felt without their name being known. Maintaining perspective is perhaps the most crucial mental habit of the quietly wealthy. They understand that wealth is a tool, not an identity. This perspective keeps them grounded and helps them avoid the common pitfalls of wealthy individuals who become consumed by their financial status. They remain connected to their values, focused on their goals, and aware of the broader context of their success. The mental discipline required to stay under the radar extends to spending decisions. The quietly wealthy have developed an internal compass that guides their purchases based on personal value rather than social signaling. They understand that every visible display of wealth creates a ripple effect of attention and expectations that can be counterproductive to their long-term goals. Rich minds also understand the importance of information control. They know what to share, when to share it, and with whom. This isn't about being deceptive. It's about being discreet and maintaining healthy boundaries. They've learned that information about their wealth, once released, cannot be recalled, and they treat this knowledge with the respect it deserves. The psychological freedom that comes from staying under the radar allows wealthy individuals to focus on what truly matters, growing their assets, maintaining their relationships, and pursuing their passions without the burden of public scrutiny. This mental clarity is perhaps the greatest luxury that strategic anonymity provides, the ability to think, plan, and act without the noise of external expectations or judgments. Lesson 10. Stealth wealth builds legacy. The ultimate measure of wealth isn't just in the numbers on your balance sheet, but in the lasting impact it creates across generations. Building a legacy through stealth wealth requires a delicate balance of financial acumen and wisdom in transmitting values. The quietly prosperous understand that their greatest achievement isn't just accumulating wealth, but ensuring it continues to grow and benefit future generations. Creating a lasting financial impact begins with establishing strong foundations that can weather any storm. This means developing robust systems and structures that can operate independently of public attention or validation. The wealthy families who maintain their prosperity across generations rarely trumpet their success. Instead, they focus on building sustainable frameworks for wealth preservation and growth. Teaching family wealth principles becomes particularly crucial in maintaining stealth wealth across generations. Children raised in wealthy families often face unique challenges, and their education about money must begin early and be handled with discretion. The key lies in demonstrating value-based decision-making, rather than simply showing the trappings of wealth. When children understand the principles behind wealth creation and preservation, they're better equipped to maintain and grow their inheritance. Quiet dynasties are built on shared values and understanding rather than public displays of affluence. These families often establish private family offices, create discreet investment vehicles, and maintain strong relationships with trusted advisors who understand the importance of privacy. They focus on developing financial literacy within the family unit while maintaining a modest public profile. The transmission of wealth-building wisdom happens most effectively through example and direct mentorship. Rather than public declarations of success, quiet wealth builders take time to work closely with their heirs, showing them the ropes of business, investment, and wealth management in private settings. This hands-on approach ensures that future generations understand not just the mechanics of wealth management, but also the philosophy behind maintaining privacy and discretion. Legacy building extends beyond mere financial assets to encompass values, relationships, and social capital. Quietly wealthy families often establish private foundations or engage in philanthropic activities without seeking recognition. They understand that true impact doesn't require public acknowledgement and that sometimes the most meaningful contributions are made anonymously. Maintaining privacy becomes increasingly challenging in our digital age, making it essential to establish clear protocols for family members regarding social media presence and public exposure. Teaching younger generations about the importance of digital discretion and privacy preservation becomes as crucial as teaching them about investment strategies and financial management. The real power of stealth wealth in legacy building lies in its ability to protect family members from unwanted attention while allowing them to pursue their own paths and passions. When wealth is managed quietly, future generations can develop their own identities and achievements without the burden of public expectations or scrutiny. Strategic planning for generational wealth transfer requires careful consideration of legal structures, tax implications, and governance mechanisms. The quietly wealthy often utilize sophisticated trust structures and estate planning tools to ensure smooth transition of assets while maintaining privacy. They work closely with legal and financial professionals who understand the importance of discretion in wealth preservation. Creating a lasting legacy through stealth wealth isn't just about passing on financial assets. It's about transmitting the wisdom, values, and principles that enabled that wealth to be created and preserved in the first place. The most successful quiet wealth builders understand that their greatest legacy isn't measured in dollars, but in the continued success and stability of future generations who understand and appreciate the power of discrete prosperity. The ultimate goal of stealth wealth legacy building is to create a self-sustaining system that can continue to generate and preserve wealth while maintaining privacy and discretion. This requires patience, wisdom, and a long-term perspective that looks beyond immediate gratification to focus on lasting impact and generational success.